I'm Xavier from Sports Business Journal, and today I'm joined by from Youth Inc., Greg Olsen and Ryan Baise. How are you guys feeling today?
Doing great. Thanks for having us.
No problem. Thank you for stopping by to the office here. A lot of great things you guys have going on with Youth Inc. We're excited to hear more about it. I just know recently you guys landed a $4.5 million funding round last year. Just how have things been going so far over the past year for you guys?
It's gone fast. I think from when Ryan and I first connected to now, it's pretty incredible how far we've come from just kind of two parallel ideas, two different really concepts that we were both working on independent, and then we kind of got connected through some shared vision and some shared colleagues, and here we are now on the eve of launching Youth Inc. as kind of a combination content commerce platform that we feel like is really going to change the youth sports industry, not only from a content education and really giving people the tools they have to navigate what is a very challenging and very crazy world of youth sports, but also on the business side, obviously Ryan's background in the commerce to really streamline and bring some advancement in what the process looks like on the apparel around youth sports. So we're excited about it. We have a lot ahead of us, but the last year or so has been pretty exciting.
Now, over the past year, have you guys received any more additional funding, or what are those conversations like in getting more capital?
We haven't so far. We haven't needed to yet. As we continue to grow as a business, I'm sure that will be part of the process. But over the last year, we've focused a lot on building the technology platform, continuing to build the content business with Greg and a network of ambassadors that we're building around him, and then really bring new and differentiated brands and supply into the commerce marketplace. So now as we go live here in August, we're sort of flipping the script and going to market, as they say, for the first time. And we're excited to show the world what we've been working on for the last 15 months or so.
So you guys have the e-commerce side along with the content platforms. Just how are you guys able to have the machine running here? Is it like through subscriptions? Is it through sponsorships? Just how are you guys able to generate the revenue?
The two businesses come together to form the Youth Inc. brand. And what we all felt, Greg as a parent and as a coach, and when I was spending time doing a little bit of research on this market at Fanatics, was that there was really a consumer-facing brand that was missing from this space. And Greg's mission behind why he started the podcast really resonated with me as a youth sports dad and a youth sports coach and a former athlete. And that's sort of the rallying cry for us, is providing resources for youth sports parents, coaches, and young athletes.
So New York Times previously reported that the youth sports industry is a $40 billion industry. I want to hear from your perspectives, what drew you guys enter in this specific space?
The biggest thing we're trying to straddle is you hear all these numbers, $40 billion, there's a lot of money in youth sports. Yes, right, we're building a company, especially the commerce engine of it, which is a for-profit business on the back of youth sports. But I also think it's really important that the money entering youth sports, the companies that are built, that are growing and popping up within this new kind of ecosystem, also keep in mind that while you are making money, this is not a predatory aspect on these young kids, right? So I think there's a lot of people that are making money off the backs of young kids. That's a clear, a very important distinction. And I think we are very conscious of that as you start hearing just how big this youth sports world is. You also can start taking advantage of some young kids if the idea is to make money off the kids.
With your experience with Fanatics, what are some things that you learned along the way that can help, get this e-commerce side up to the forefront?
I learned up close and personal what a great sports commerce business looks like. Technology, marketing, operations, leadership, all of it. Those guys have built an incredible company. And so, if we can take just a small part of that and apply it to what we're building at Youth Inc., hopefully we can build a company that matters in the youth sports space.
And then just going back to your background, working in the youth sports space as well, especially with Bo Jackson Elite Sports Group, just what are some things that you notice within the space over the last 10 years that inspired you to pursue this opportunity now?
Well, a lot of the stuff that Greg talks about from a content standpoint and how parents are thinking about navigating the space and should we do private lessons and private travel clubs. Like, I spent the better part of a decade doing quarterback coaching in the Chicago area. So I had very similar conversations with dozens and dozens of parents who were trying to figure out what the right level of specialization was for their kids. Right. So that the mission side of it resonated right away. I also experienced, as overseeing football for multiple facilities, what a terrible experience it was to procure team uniforms, fan wear, all of those things. And we had a great relationship with Nike, but it still would take a really long time to receive merchandise, send it out to local screen printers. You're waiting sometimes 3 or 4 months to get all of that stuff back. And so it was actually a conversation that I had in Fanatics 7-8 years ago. Was like the first time this came up of, hey, is this a problem that we can go fix? And a very long story short, turns out it's a lot more complicated than people realize. But that's why we're taking a crack at it.
So even on this e-commerce side, how are you guys working with different schools or different youth clubs, or even like on the larger scale, like AAU, for example, to make sure that they're able to get merchandise or things they want to sell, off your platform?
We're still figuring a lot of that out. There's a lot of conversations that are ongoing with everyone from national governing bodies to other large operating entities in the youth and high school sports space. But the general feeling is that the experience for the end consumer can be improved, and that new technology is coming online in a way that we think that can help with some of the fragmentation and things like managing team logos for tens of thousands of schools and club teams is a really hard challenge. And in some of the ways that Fanatics is set up to build or to serve large professional leagues and teams, like this is fundamentally a different business in a lot of ways. So ton of opportunity, but we're still figuring out exactly the right way to do it.
So what kind of partners are you guys looking for to get the e-commerce side off the ground? Like whether it's more, for example, apparel based, is it equipment, is it all the above? Just what does this whole ecosystem looks like?
So we're starting with premium fan wear. Like that's what's available on the site today as we launch. And that's mostly because we heard from a lot of great brands and customers that they were both interested in the market, but they needed a matchmaker effectively. And over time, we'll likely expand into other merchandise offerings that youth sports families are interested in, but there's no firm dates or commitments around that yet.
How excited are you to get this off the ground? And it's also, how do you enjoy making the content altogether?
Yeah, I mean, the content journey has been a lot of fun. We've been doing this now for a couple of years. It started as just my original You Think podcast, and then we kind of looked at it and we said, wait a minute, there's a lot more here. We can really scale this, bring in other content creators, bring in other people that are really passionate about telling different stories in the youth sports space and build kind of an ecosystem platform, not just singular around me. And it's kind of, we've been holding a lot of these interviews, waiting for the launch, which has been exciting, knowing what we have in store. Obviously, Tom being one of them, and we've sat down with Malcolm Gladwell and CJ Stroud and Ryan Day off the national championship season. So like some really interesting voices in the youth sports space, but it's athletes, it's former athletes, it's current athletes, coaches, mental health specialists, sports psychologists, athletic performance trainers. So, I mean, really everybody from around the entire world of youth sports, we've gone out there and had conversations with. So we're really excited for people to hear these conversations. When we go live, we have hundreds of conversations, not just of me, but of all of our ambassadors and creators that we have banked and stored that we are itching to really share publicly, because up till now, we've kind of teased them on our social media and platforms. But when we go live here in a couple weeks, all that content will start coming out more officially. And we feel really proud of the work that we've done over the last year or so, banking some really special conversations with some really insightful people. And we think our listeners are going to get a lot of value and have a really good experience soaking it in.
Well, keep pounding. I'm excited to see
There you
everything
go.
going, man. So
Appreciate it.
Thank you again, Greg. Thank you again, Ryan, for coming by.